welcome to Beth Roars, where we look at your favourite singers to find out what makes them them. Now, this video is in association with sheetmusicplus.com. They are an awesome sheet music distributor. You can find basically anything you want. So this obviously is a video of Brendon Urie singing Queen. If you want sheet music to Bohemian Rhapsody, really any Queen song, any Panic at the Disco song, they've got it. And they have some kind of cool, weird versions of songs as well. So if you're in a marching band, they have a marching band version. It's a real place to find great full band versions of songs, so check it out. I'll put a link in the info box below. It's going to be a really interesting video for me because Brendon Urie is a phenomenal singer. I really love his voice, I love his technique, but also, I mean, Freddie Mercury taking on this, that's a real challenge, and Freddie Mercury is just, you know, he's classic.
Is this the real life? Is this just fantasy? Caught in a landslide, no escape from reality.
Really nice transition.
Open your eyes, look up to the skies and see. I'm just a poor boy, I need no sympathy.
In general, Brendon sounds like Brendon, which I don't think is a bad thing. He is great in his own right. He does have a bit of a lighter tone on these top notes, but I'm loving how he is transitioning into lower place and going into different textures in his voice. So this higher kind of head voicey kind of mix place, and then he's going into a really low larynx, warm place. He's just really playing around with it and finding ways to express it, which is nice to see.
Easy come, easy go, little high, little low. Anywhere the wind blows doesn't really
Nice.
matter to me.
God, I'm gonna stop every few minutes in this. It's so interesting. I loved his anyway, the really forward place. It gave it a bit of punch, and then he lightened it off into the wind blows. Doesn't really matter to me. And he had that scoop into it like Freddie. And then he put a little breath at the end, which again is very Freddie Mercury. To me. I wish I'd actually listened to more of him before doing this because I'm very used to Freddie Mercury's voice and I'm not so sure what are stylistic things that Brendon Urie would do. But what my vibe is that he obviously has his voice, which has a similar range to Freddie Mercury, but isn't stylistically like his, and he's just adding a few of those little Freddie nuances, which is nice because it's honouring the original way of singing the song, but it's still making it your own. Tattoos, I like them.
Mama, just killed a man.
So he's really in this warm place, putting the breath through.
Pulled my trigger, now he's dead. Mama, life had just been
Nice.
but now I've gone through away.
Interesting role they are.
Mama, didn't mean to make you cry. If I'm not back again this time tomorrow.
What I'm loving is his mix. The way that he can put the power in behind this, it sounds nice and full, whereas earlier it was really light. But because he has that full chord closure, he's not going into a breathy place apart from stylistic reasons. He can just press into it a little more and get that power, and it's not a pushed chest. He's not pushing that chest up or it would feel a bit shouty, but it's so controlled. He does have some real pop stylistic things like coming off the end of notes. Pull my trigger, now he's dead. And he just flicks down onto that lower note.
Carry on, carry on.
Oh, lovely.
Nothing really matters.
That lower one felt not quite as well placed in the carry on. But in general, real good.
Too late.
interesting. He's going to a really back place on that I've, instead of I've got to go. Freddie's is actually a little bit further forward and he's I've got to go. Makes it feel more, a little bit more classically-ish. I mean, it's not classical really in any sense at all, but it's going towards that placement a little bit. And it just rounds that vowel. It's interesting, different way of singing it. Nice. Interesting. I love it. I love his rolly R's. Wow. He's great at getting that tone up there.
Easy go, will you let me go?
Wow, great. So on that big high note, instead of keeping it go, an O can be quite a difficult vowel. You see, he just goes to an ah. He's like go ah, which helps him get up there. Again, what he is great at is getting full chord closure right on these big high notes, which just gives it that punch. It's that kind of 80s rock style singing. It's not Freddie Mercury. It's different the way he places it, but it's great in its own right. I also really love how he's playing piano. I know it's such a silly thing, but like playing piano and singing is real hard. You've got to think of like your pedal, your right hand, your left hand, and sing at the same time. It's like 4 different things going on at once. And I tell you what, I hate playing piano and singing. I find it so difficult to multitask. I am a terrible stereotype of a woman. I cannot multitask very well at all, but he's doing it very, very well. Oh, I like that distortion. I love it.
So you think you can stone me and spit in my eye?
Yes. Yes.
You leave me to die. Oh, baby, can't do this to me, baby. Just gotta get out. Just gotta get right out of here.
What I love about this is that he's going into this really straight tone place. It's really chest resonancy, not a lot of vibrato, and then he's putting these little bits of distortion on, like here, and then it's like a little ah at the end, which it sounds like a little gremlin when I do it in isolation. Those high notes, how is he achieving those sounds? It's all to do with his placement. It's all to do with getting forward placement and not letting it come back and be breathy. So something that helps me get to this place is making horrible noises. Like, this is going to distort on my mic. I'm really sorry, but I'm going to try and give you a quietish version of this. But let me put my mic far away. It's that sound. It's that horrible nasally forward placed thing. I like to think of it in here, being like, ah. If you can get these horrible sounds, then you can get that punch on like a nice normal vowel. Opening up your mouth, really easy and really stupid, but of course if you don't open your mouth, you can't get the sound out. So you just have to go for that sound, go for the horribleness of it, open your mouth, and then you can start to warm it once you've got that full chord closure in that horrible place. See you there. Woo! That's that horrible nasally place. But it works, it sounds cool. To you. Interesting. Okay, I before he does this little end bit, I like where he's placing it. Nothing really matters. It's quite low larynx, so for finding that sound, I would do like a goo 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 goo, like a really hooty owl. That ending, he was really milking it. It's funny. It's good. It's good. He's doing cool things like nothing really with the super vibrato matters with the little almost ornament. It's like a classical ornament rather than a pop style ornament, but I like it. And then that slide down, like that reminds me of Etta James does it in her version, or well, she was the original At Last on Thrill. It sounds really cool. And then the long s at the end. It's just very extravagant, but you know what? So was Freddie Mercury. Why not? Okay, here. And then the slide on that as well. I find that hilarious.
Wow. Thanks for that. Holy shit.
Wow. I really enjoyed that. I mean, for me, I absolutely grew up on Queen. My dad loves Queen. So that original version for me, and I'm sure, I mean, Brendon Urie probably thinks the same. Like, I feel like you can't quite beat that. But what I did like about it was that Brendon did his own thing with it. And I think that's really cool. And it's really brave to do that on such an iconic song. I wouldn't say that like all his little pop things that he did was particularly my cup of tea in this context. I know in other songs I would totally love it, but that's partially just because I love the original so much that it's really hard for me to get my brain out of the original Freddie way of singing it. It's just so in my brain, and that's why it's such a brave thing to sing a song like this and then make it your own, because people are just like, no, there is one way of doing it, and there isn't. Of course, there isn't one way of doing anything. It's great that he is doing this, and I'm sure loads of people love it even more than the original. I do have to watch a bit more of him because I really, really love all this high stuff he's doing. It's really, really impressive. Alright, thank you for watching. Do remember, if you want any of the sheet music, just pop over to sheetmusicplus.com, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.